LB says, another thing, isn't burden of justification more for yourself than trying to persuade someone? Okay, so that's a good question. You should always be able to justify your belief to yourself. But in a conversation, you should also be able to justify it to someone else. You don't have to. You don't have to. But if we were having a conversation and I was going to go, well, Dave, frankly, I believe gods don't exist. And he was to go, why? And I go, well, I don't want to discuss that with you. I don't have to, but it doesn't show Dave that I've got a rational position.
No.
So you're right. It's not necessarily to convince Dave that gods don't exist, but it is to show him that I've thought out my position well enough and I hold a rational position. From there, Dave might go, yeah, but what about? And we might have something to talk about. Or Dave might go, oh, crap, I hadn't thought of that. Maybe I need to think about this. Well, Joe, what do you think about this thing? Because I justify it this way. And I might turn around and go, oh, crap, I haven't thought about that either. I need to learn more. Or I might go, well, Dave, that's quite obvious with that one. Think about X, Y, Z. And you go, ah, shit. I'm no longer justified in this belief because I thought this because of this, but you've shown a hole in this. Right. And that's part of justification as well, especially if you're having a dialectic conversation. Your justification is to yourself, but it's also to the conversation to find the truth in the conversation. And by the end of it, you might find that both of you are in a less rational position than you first thought, and you need to research your position on that topic more, at least if you care to. And maybe that's some of the reason why people don't spend the time either.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of Plato's dialogues end that way, just to show you that it can happen, and you should then both go off and have a look and have a think.
And there's nothing wrong with that, is there, really? No. Actually, I don't know where we're at. We need to research more.
Yeah, we'll come back and have the dialogue in a week or two.
Brilliant.
One of the things as well is you should also remember when it comes to justifying your position to other people is that there are people who you may never be able to justify your position to. Think of somebody like that, David Smalley, or somebody like the Duke, where you're saying, well, no, my position on atheism is this. If they're so entrenched
in their position, we need to sort out your connection. If they're so entrenched in their position is where you were at, Dave.
They might be that entrenched in their position that they will only accept you accepting theirs.
Yeah.
For them, rationality is judged by whether or not you agree with them. So there will be people you can never justify your position to.
Yeah.
Regardless. Yeah.
Or at least they will never accept your justification.
Yeah.
Because only their position in their eyes is rational. And if you don't agree with them, you're irrational in their eyes. So, I mean, that's sort of going down the lines of subjective versus objective rationality. And, oh, God.
Well, I mean, if you think about the average person, they'll judge how smart a person is by how much they agree with them.
Fair. I don't do it that way. I do it sort of by how much more they seem to know than me, and how quick they are at picking things up, and how quick they can adjust to the changes in my conversation. And if they can pick up things quickly, or even if they ask the right questions at the right time, if they don't necessarily understand something, but they ask the questions that get them to the knowledge, and I go, blimey, you understood that quicker. It took me a couple of weeks to get there, and you've asked me the right questions to get to that same point of knowledge where you now understand this. Bastard, why don't I have your mind?
Yeah, same. But there is a lot of people who, if you think about the people who talk about ethics and you say, well, no, there's more to ethics than that. It's like, no, it's subjective. You don't know what you're talking about if you say it's more than subjective.
Yeah. God, I hate those conversations.
Yeah.
I really love conversations about ethics and morality and various ethical theories and things like that. But I really hate getting involved in a conversation with a subjectivist that really only knows a very vague outline of moral subjectivism.
Yeah. But then they go on to judge how much you know, based on how little they know.
Yeah.
Not, you seem to have all this bigger understanding. It's, oh no, you're just wrong. You haven't got the same opinion as me, so therefore you're wrong. And you've got to remember when you're justifying your position to people that happens a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's frustrating.